So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 7, iOS 15, beta 1. Let's see how this thing does perform on the boot up in 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to be covering this phone just like we covered the iPhone 6s. How does it run? And in this video, we're going to kind of see, is this phone still usable? A10 Fusion chip was a pretty big leap for Apple at the time with the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. I remember waiting in a line to get the iPhone 7 series, and this one was, pretty much an Apple TV before this for a long time as well, and it came to a lot of iPads as well. So this thing booted up right around 27 seconds. So actually, I think it was a little bit slower to boot up than the iPhone 6s, or right around the same time. So definitely acceptable though. We're on iOS 15. Remember, this phone came out all the way back in 2016. That would be 5 years ago this September. So let's go ahead and confirm the software here. You can tell this is iOS 15 simply by seeing that different clock widget right there, as well as the wallpaper, but the wallpaper could be downloaded. So we're just going to confirm it here in Geekbench 5 for you. iOS 15 on board. A10 Fusion clocked in at 2.34 gigahertz. So this was actually clocked at a higher clock speed than the iPhone 6s. In addition, it carried the same 2 gigabytes of RAM, which means that it can hold multiple apps in the background, like some of the more newer iPhones with 4 gigabytes of RAM, 3 gigabytes of RAM. But let me tell you, I've been running this before this video quite a bit, and I gotta tell you, it feels even better than the iPhone 6s. Now, some people are saying, well, it's not many changes from iOS 14. Of course, it should still run pretty good, and you do have a point. But at the same time, it's still nice to see that a phone that's going to go on 5 years old runs exceptionally well, like the iPhone 7 here. So what I want to do here, I just kind of swipe through the home screens. We're going to open up Control Center and see if we can get any lag here within the system itself. And you can see going through the home screens, I cannot get this thing to lag up here, even on this first beta. So let's go ahead and bring down notifications. You can see right there, no lag whatsoever. Even when we go ahead and pop open the phone with the Touch ID, it's still very quick there. You can see very fast to open it up. So very nice. This is letting you know that the performance should be pretty good. 3D Touch also very snappy. Sometimes when you pop into these, they will lag up as the phone gets older. The new focus modes right there, everything nice and slick and smooth right there. Now this phone is getting a little bit warm on the back, so you have the aluminum casing, so with a case on, you probably wouldn't feel it, and it's not as optimized as something like the newer iPhone SE. But I will say that this phone, for being its age, is performing even better than what I've seen on the iPhone 6s. It is 60 hertz, so it's not buttery smooth like a 120 hertz display. But yeah, swiping through, going over here to this page, usually we'll get some lag on the newer phones. You'll see right there, no major issues. Now coming into a couple of applications, you'll see sometimes they do take a little bit longer than the newer phones to load here, but also we just booted it up, so this is a fresh load as well, taking a little bit of time, and this will be dependent also on your Wi-Fi connection. Let's go back over here and let that load up. So you've seen that did take quite a bit of time right there on that one. However, it's not going to be in all cases. In a lot of cases, it's just going to work the way you would expect. You can see the new weather application. Pretty fun to see that. And on the lock screen, you will see that new feature right there where it shows you which focus mode you are in. Yeah, overall, gotta say, pretty impressed with how this thing runs through the system itself. Nothing really seems to be overly delayed or overly laggy or anything like that. And that's pretty nice because, the iPhone 7, a lot of people still use this phone, even though many iPhones came out. The 7 and 7 Plus are still in circulation. They're still being used. So if you want to just wait till 13, maybe you might want to download the more official public betas later when they become more stable. It's already looking pretty good here on beta 1 in terms of just general performance for the iPhone 7. All right, so what I want to do here is just go through some applications, see how fast it can load these up. Again, it's not going to be blazing snappy fast like the newer iPhones, but man, it's held on quite a bit of time here. Let's go into some Amazon right here. You'll see just a little bit of a wait, a couple of seconds more than something like an iPhone 12, which is the more later edition of iPhone, but usable. I would say better than the 6S for sure. We'll go to Starbucks here. what I'm saying is that it's not like you can't use this phone and get around in society. You can use this phone and be just fine. I mean, you're not gonna have the fastest thing out there, but you can use it and get through day-to-day life. It's still usable, functional, even now. So that's pretty cool. However, you will have to be a little bit more patient than some of us who are impatient. Let's go into Crossy Road right here. You can even play games on this phone. It's not gonna have too much of a trouble. Again, you're just gonna have to wait for them to load a little bit longer than an A14 CPU or an A13 CPU. But why I'm impressed by this is for one reason. Back in the days when the 1 gig of RAM iPhones like the 5S, the iPhone 6, I think I seen a little chop right there when we came back. So maybe there's a little bit here and there. I'm gonna skip PUBG because that takes too long. But if we have, you know, the 1 gig of RAM, 4S, 5S, those phones, they got really bad when they got older. But these 2 gig of RAM iPhones, these A10 Fusions, after the, you know, A11, the A12, these things have been exceptionally good performers. And I think they're gonna last longer. And they already seem to be showing better performance as they age versus those older iPhones from back in the day. However, I am seeing a little bit of chop now that we are getting into gaming. Maybe the frame rates are a little bit behind right now, but Geekbench I think was already open. We'll go into Lightroom here, and you'll see just a couple of seconds. You see just snappier opening times on the newer phones, but again, does it look horrible? Let me know your thoughts down below. And yes, you can still do video editing on a phone like this. And this is capable of 4K 30 recording. So iOS 15, 4K 30 recording. It can do editing. That's pretty cool for being 5 years old phone, I would say. All right, guys, so let's see if we get any lag just kind of going back through them, or if they have an issue reopening these applications that we did go into. So you see it's pretty much in memory there. Crossy Road did pause. You've seen a little bit of a pause there. Going to ESPN, that was open. Groupon was open. Starbucks was open. eBay, a little bit of a pause. Amazon has to reload. So we are getting a reload here. Calculator doesn't have to. And Instagram was open. So not bad for 2 gigs of RAM. As we get, if I populated this whole screen with more applications, it would have probably started reloading more stuff. See how Spotlight goes. So there's a little chop right there. So not perfect. I did say it was good, but it's not perfect. There you go. So we are getting a little bit of a chop right there. So yeah, you are going to run into it. But for a beta 1, better than I thought. So let's go ahead now and run a Geekbench test, and we're going to see what kind of scores this thing is capable of pulling in on beta 1 here. So let me run the benchmark, and I'll be back when it is done. Now, when it comes to the Geekbench 5 results, iPhone 7 is kind of giving us what I've seen with the 6S, pretty close to what it averages, but not quite there. Pretty much something to expect for a beta, but it's not too far off the average. And if you're wondering why are those scores so low, it's because when Geekbench went from Geekbench 4 to 5, they changed the scoring system, and they kind of reflect a little bit lower numbers now. You'll even see it on the newer iPhones, whereas they used to be really ridiculous high numbers in the past. So you've seen right there in the benchmarks, pretty decent. You know, we did find a couple of lag when we pulled down the search section right there. So definitely it's not perfect here, but I want to go ahead now and test out the camera. This is something that is definitely needed to be used quite a bit. And you can see it fires right open. It can shoot video, no problems whatsoever. Swiping through the camera, looks good. Let's go ahead and flip over to the front facing camera, and you'll see good to go. Very fast to snap a photo. So if you're running the beta, you're going to be fine using the camera as well, which is a really good thing because you don't want the camera lagging, or else you're going to miss your memories and photos. So in conclusion, the iPhone 7, how does it run? I think I'm going to continue this series with the iPhone 8, the iPhone SE 2016, maybe the 6S Plus. Let me know which phones you want to see on iOS 15 down below. We'll call it the How Does It Run series. But I got to say, iPhone 7, doing pretty good. And I think as more updates do come to this, as the beta improves and it gets closer to the release later this year, I think the 7 is going to perform just as well as it did on 14 official, like pretty functional day to day. So pretty happy with this so far. Although keep in mind there's a little bit of stutter here and there, but it's not anything that's going to make or break using this phone. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful, entertaining, informing. I'll catch you all in the next one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.